Bhanu Singh, a middle-aged man with a thin frame and tired eyes, lived alone in a desolate village tucked away in the remote corners of rural India. The village, enveloped by dense forests and steeped in ancient legends, seemed untouched by the modern world. It was a place where time had seemingly stood still, and superstitions ruled the lives of its inhabitants. Bhanu's ancestral home, a dilapidated mansion perched on a hill, bore the weight of centuries of secrets and tragedies. From the moment Bhanu moved into the house, he felt a subtle unease creeping into his bones. The air carried an ominous heaviness, and the flickering flames of the oil lamps cast eerie shadows on the walls. As the days turned into nights, strange occurrences began to unfold around Bhanu, shattering the tranquility he had sought in the solitude of the village. It started subtly, with unexplained sounds echoing through the empty corridors, a creaking floorboard, a whisper carried by the wind, a door slamming shut with a force that defied reason. Bhanu dismissed them as mere quirks of an old house, attempting to rationalize away the growing unease in his heart. But the whispers persisted, growing louder and more insistent with each passing night. They echoed through his bedroom, enveloping him in an intangible web of fear. Bhanu would lie awake, his heart pounding, straining his ears to discern the words carried by the spectral voices. Sometimes they seemed like distant murmurs, indistinct and indecipherable, while other times they morphed into sinister whispers, as though the spirits were conspiring against him. Sleep became a distant memory for Bhanu. Every time he closed his eyes, a suffocating darkness engulfed him, and he would find himself trapped in a twisted realm of nightmares. In these dreams, he would roam through labyrinthine corridors, the air thick with a cold, malevolent presence. Faces of long-dead ancestors glared at him from faded portraits, their eyes hollow and accusing. The dreamscapes twisted and contorted, distorting reality, until Bhanu would wake up drenched in sweat, gasping for breath, unsure if he had truly escaped the clutches of the spectral realm. One fateful night, as Bhanu lay wide awake, his senses heightened by the torment, he saw something that sent shivers down his spine. A ghostly apparition materialized at the foot of his bed, an ethereal figure with long, tangled hair and vacant eyes that glowed with an otherworldly light. The specter's hollow gaze pierced through Bhanu's soul, leaving him paralyzed with terror. The room grew colder, and the air thickened, as though the very essence of death had permeated the space. From that moment, the hauntings intensified. The spirits that plagued Bhanu seemed to be bound to him, following his every step. Their presence loomed over him, a constant reminder of his helplessness in the face of the supernatural. Shadows danced on the walls, taking sinister shapes and whispering secrets from the depths of the unknown. Unable to bear the weight of the unexplained, Bhanu embarked on a quest to uncover the truth behind the haunting. He delved into the history of his family, tracing his lineage back through generations. What he discovered sent shivers down his spine. A curse had been cast upon his family, a curse born out of his great-grandfather's insatiable thirst for power and knowledge. Bhanu's great-grandfather, a man consumed by the darkness of his desires, had dabbled in forbidden rituals and black magic. In his relentless pursuit of power, he had trespassed into realms best left undisturbed. Unleashing forces beyond his comprehension, he had incurred the wrath of vengeful spirits who had been wronged by his dark deeds. The spirits that tormented Bhanu were the restless souls of those who had suffered under the curse, the victims of his great-grandfather's depravity. Seeking retribution for the sins committed by his ancestors, they had found a vessel in Bhanu, haunting him as a reminder of the past that refused to be forgotten. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Bhanu became consumed by a sense of purpose. He sought guidance from village elders, who advised him on ancient rituals and cleansing ceremonies. In the depths of night, Bhanu would burn incense and chant incantations, invoking divine forces in a desperate bid to rid himself of the haunting. But the spirits were relentless, undeterred by his efforts. They clung to him like shadows, refusing to relinquish their hold. As the haunting progressed, Bhanu's mental state deteriorated rapidly. Fear and paranoia became his constant companions, whispering in his ear and distorting his perception of reality. He began to withdraw from the world, isolating himself in the suffocating embrace of his ancestral home. His once welcoming smile was replaced by a haunted look in his eyes, a look that spoke of a man teetering on the edge of sanity. The villagers, sensing the darkness that had taken hold of Bhanu, kept their distance, their curiosity overridden by an instinctive fear. Some whispered that he had fallen victim to the curse, while others believed he had invited the spirits upon himself through some unknown transgression. Regardless of the speculations, the village stood united in their desire to keep their distance from the haunted man. Desperation gnawed at Banu's soul, driving him deeper into the clutches of madness. He became a shell of his former self, his laughter replaced by anguished cries that echoed through the silent halls of his ancestral home. Shadows danced in his peripheral vision. And he would often catch fleeting glimpses of ghostly figures, their faces twisted in agony, only to find them vanish into thin air when he turned to confront them. In his darkest hour, Banu stumbled upon an ancient scroll tucked away in a hidden compartment of his great-grandfather's study. The scroll spoke of a ritual, a final chance for redemption and liberation from the curse. Fueled by a flicker of hope, Banu meticulously followed the instructions. Gathering the necessary ingredients and preparing himself for a final confrontation with the spirits that had tormented him for far too long. The night of the ritual arrived, the moon hanging heavy in the sky, casting an ethereal glow upon the haunted mansion. Banu stood at the epicenter of his ancestral home, surrounded by burning candles and an air of anticipation. The incense curled upwards, carrying his prayers to the heavens, as he chanted ancient verses passed down through generations. In the midst of the ritual, a tempest of supernatural energy swirled around Banu, as though the spirits themselves were drawn to the ritual's climax. The walls trembled, and the whispers that had plagued Banu for so long crescendoed into a cacophony of tortured voices. The spirits manifested before him. Their forms ethereal and twisted, their eyes burning with a mixture of rage and sorrow. With a surge of determination, Banu faced the apparitions, his voice resolute as he pleaded for forgiveness on behalf of his ancestors. He acknowledged the suffering inflicted upon the spirits, promising to break the cycle of darkness and ensure that justice prevailed. As his words echoed through the haunted mansion, a profound silence descended, broken only by the collective. Banu's discovery of the dark secrets that had plagued his family for generations sent shivers down his spine. He delved deeper into the annals of his family's history, determined to understand the origins of the curse that had brought the spirits to his doorstep. In his relentless pursuit of knowledge, Banu uncovered a long-forgotten diary, its pages yellowed with age and its ink faded. It belonged to his great-grandfather, revealing the depths of his depravity in his descent into the abyss of dark magic. The diary chronicled his insatiable thirst for power, his willingness to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve his sinister goals. According to the diary, Banu's great-grandfather, Madhav Singh, had become enamored with the occult during his early years. He had sought out forbidden texts, hidden in ancient libraries and whispered about in hushed tones among secretive circles. Through his relentless pursuit, Madhav had acquired forbidden knowledge that surpassed the boundaries of mortal understanding. As his obsession grew, Madhav became seduced by the allure of black magic. He dabbled in sacrilegious rituals and performed unspeakable acts to harness the supernatural forces that lay dormant in the fabric of reality. It was during one of these rituals that he inadvertently awakened the vengeful spirits that would haunt his bloodline for generations to come. Madhav's insidious actions had led him to an ancient burial ground, an unhallowed place where restless souls lay in eternal unrest. Driven by a lust for power, he had desecrated the sacred ground, using the remains of the deceased as ingredients in his dark rituals. The spirits, bound to their resting places by the sanctity of their final resting ground, were awakened by the desecration and their anger grew with each passing day. In his diary, Madhav detailed the malevolent presence that had descended upon his life. He wrote of strange occurrences, flickering lights, objects moving on their own, and the whispers of the restless dead that echoed through the halls of his once hallowed mansion. Tormented by guilt and fear, he attempted to reverse the curse, but his efforts proved futile. The spirits had become eternally bound to his bloodline, their vengeance insatiable. As Banu read through the entries, he felt a chilling connection with his great-grandfather. The parallels between their lives were undeniable, the pursuit of forbidden knowledge, the darkness that had consumed them both, and the consequences that haunted them relentlessly. Banu's heart ached with the weight of the past, realizing that he had inherited the sins of his forefathers. Driven by a newfound sense of purpose, Banu sought out the village elders known for their wisdom in matters of the supernatural. He recounted the tale of his great-grandfather's atrocities and begged for their guidance. The elders, their faces lined with the weight of time, listened intently, their eyes filled with both sympathy and caution. They revealed that the curse that plagued Banu's family was not a simple matter to unravel. It had permeated the fabric of their existence, intertwined with their very essence. They warned Banu of the dangers that lay ahead, urging him to proceed with caution. Yet, They recognized his determination and saw within him a glimmer of hope, a chance to break the cycle and bring peace to the tormented souls. The elders led Banu to a sacred temple hidden deep within the heart of the forest. Its walls were adorned with intricate carvings, depicting scenes of ancient battles between good and evil. Within the temple, Banu underwent rigorous spiritual and physical preparations, designed to cleanse his soul and strengthen his resolve. Under the guidance of the elders, Banu embarked on a perilous journey through the ethereal realms. He traversed treacherous landscapes, encountering malevolent entities and testing his will against the forces that sought to break him. Through each trial, he grew stronger, his spirit honed with determination and resilience. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Banu arrived at the heart of the spiritual realm, a place where the barrier between the living and the dead was at its thinnest. There, he stood face to face with the embodiment of the curse, the vengeful spirit who had orchestrated the torment upon his bloodline. The spirit, once a victim of Madhav's depravity, radiated with an ethereal glow, its eyes burning with rage and sorrow. It spoke with a voice that carried the weight of countless souls, recounting the pain and suffering inflicted upon its brethren. Banu listened, his heart heavy with remorse and empathy, vowing to end the cycle of darkness. In that pivotal moment, Banu made a solemn promise to the spirit and to himself. He pledged to right the wrongs of his ancestors, to seek redemption and justice for those who had suffered. The spirit, touched by Banu's sincerity, recognized his genuine remorse and agreed to release the curse that had bound them for centuries. As Banu returned to the mortal realm, a newfound sense of peace enveloped him. The haunting whispers that had plagued his nights grew fainter, until they were nothing more than echoes of a distant past. The spirits that had tormented him faded into oblivion, their souls finding solace and rest at last. Banu, forever marked by his journey, dedicated his life to helping others plagued by supernatural torment. He became a beacon of hope in the village, offering guidance and protection to those in need. Through his actions, he sought to break the chains of darkness that bound his family, ensuring that the sins of the past would never be repeated. And so, Banu's story became a legend, whispered among the villagers, a tale of redemption, sacrifice, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The haunted man had become a guardian, a protector against the forces that lurked in the shadows, a testament to the resilience of the human soul.